Welcome. So today our guest is Vumile Msweli. She is an international speaker, renowned coach, and the CEO of Hesed Consulting. Hesed is a consulting firm specializing in commerce acceleration, career coaching, women empowerment, facilitation, and training on the African continent. Vumile has worked in Europe, Asia, and across African continent for reputable multinational institutions, including Barclays, Investec, Nedbank, FNB, and Vodafone. She is award-winning businesswoman who has received honors such as Women's Economic Forum Women of Excellence Award, named 34th Most Influential Young South African by Avans Media, the Southern Times of one of South Africa's most influential young women. Vumi has also been awarded Elle Boss of the Year in corporate category, and she's a TEDx speaker. So welcome, Vumi.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Yes, it's lovely having you. I can see all that smile right there. Is that your daily smile of a coach?
Yeah, that's my good morning and it's a fresh new day smile, right?
It's perfect. So as a coach, is that the energy you're bringing?
Definitely. I think when you're a coach, you have to have the ability to uplift people's mood, because often when people are coming to you, they're coming because they're struggling with something. And as you know, when we're struggling with something, we tend to get a little bit frustrated. So having that right energy that you bring into the room is critical as a coach.
I can imagine. So as a career coach, what are the struggles that people are having and that you're helping with?
Oh, wow. So there are quite a number of challenges that people face, right? So my job as a career coach is to help people accelerate their careers. In essence, to take them where they are to where they're wanting to be in their careers. So people come with me from everything from Vumi, help me, my boss is a narcissist, to help, I hate my job, which was my TEDx talk that you mentioned, to Vumi, I've got a challenge, I think I'm ready to grow, but I've got an issue with public speaking, which I support them with. I help people plan their careers. So I work a lot even with graduates, to help them plan their careers in order to enable them to have the resources they need to get from where they are to where they're wanting to be.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. So as a graduate, let's say that I'll take back a few of my years. I'm, let's say, 19, and I plan to go through the career path preparation. So I plan to figure out what I want to do, how I want to study. How would you help me with that?
So the first step is understanding what are you actually passionate about. And my biggest challenge with most of my graduates and actually most of my coaches who are still in school is they have the impression that they're going to make a decision that's going to last them a lifetime in their career. But there is no career destination. It's more of a career journey. You know, the average human being will have 7 to 8 careers in their lifetime. So it's understanding, one, what do you enjoy doing? What are you curious about so you can get mentally stimulated? And thinking, I like to say, about 3 to 5 years from now, where you're wanting to be. So those are the first few steps that we start analyzing. I use various tools like personality testing, how you process the world, to help us shape where is it that your next career pit stop is going to be.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. So let's say I'm on my career journey. Do you also help struggles, as you mentioned, the boss is frustrating and you want to develop yourself? How would you help with that as a career coach?
So when we identify what the challenges are, so most of the time people are, and I always say this, people join organizations for the brand and they usually leave because of their boss. And a lot of people are under the impression that if I just change organizations, then I can get a new boss and it'll be a lot easier. That's not it. In principle, what we're trying to achieve is understanding where you are battling from a relational perspective. So if you're dealing with a boss who is a bully, you'll find often that that boss doesn't bully everybody, but there's something about the relationship and engagement where you're a little bit easier to bully. So it's about teaching you how to put boundaries in place, how to develop those interpersonal skills in order to be able to effectively manage up, which is a skill that I think you should have throughout your career. I always joke and I say, you'll run away from a boss thinking he's a level 1 demon, go to the next role and actually find out that there's a level 10 demon waiting for you. So you need to master the skill where you find yourself.
So is that something that, because you said that you're coaching people on different levels, including the graduates. So is it something that universities are not teaching graduates to prepare for the workspace, or is it like throughout any type of situations, how we develop these skills?
So I find it fascinating. So I think the ability to manage your career is a life skill that everyone should get taught. The reality is that not everyone does get taught. Universities, I like to think of universities, and we say this a lot, right? The School of Management Sciences, the School of Engineering. Universities are spaces that help us to develop a school of thought and how we approach problems. So for example, myself, I studied accounting. So the way I'll approach a problem will be from an analytical accounting perspective. That's what a university is. It's the ability to equip you with a technical know-how. That technical know-how is very rarely actually practical. So you get into the job space and you're like, well, I'm a technical expert at what I do, but you've got no experience in it. And then you quickly realize that 80% of what you do is not the technical expertise in order to accelerate your career. It's more the soft skills, which is where I come in. And unfortunately, there are a number of life skills that aren't being taught. I think if universities and tertiary institutions were doing us a favor, they'd teach us also how to run our own businesses, which is what's required now in the future. Like one of our courses is the art of the side hustle. Another course is basic things like how to do your tax. We don't get taught that, and it's a life skill we need. Managing your career is also a life skill we need. Universities are brilliant at helping us point us in a direction for a particular school of thought based on our natural ability and based on what we decided and the subjects we chose in high school. But university is not going to help you maneuver the world of work from a corporate political perspective.
Okay, I see. So basically, universities kind of could merge with coaching to help people graduate and have a successful career further on in life. And
Definitely.
Career, as you're saying, it's more of a quest than one direction because life evolves.
So sorry to interrupt you. A good example is, even if I look at myself, right? I studied accounting, I've got an honors in finance. Then I did my MBA. I spent the better half of a decade in the financial institutions. And it's only about 10 years in my career where I became a full-time coach. So from a call center agent to running strategy for Vodafone to being in different arenas, it's only now that I'm doing this. So I don't think a university could have prepared me for that. Because initially, if I said I wanted to be a coach, I would have been taken to the social sciences discipline. But the accounting and finance still serves me.
Yeah, so basically that's where you got. But do you think that your personal background could influence your career, or what was first? You wanted to become an accountant and then you figured out the coaching career path. How did you end up?
That's a very interesting perception. So you must remember that most of us choose our careers based on our social economic background. So I'm from one of the smallest township actually the smallest township in the Southern Hemisphere. I come from David. And where I come from, the people that I aspire to be like were really teachers, nurses. I didn't even know something like an accountant existed. I thought, if all else fails, I'll marry a gangster and be very, very wealthy, right? So that actually influences what it is that we choose. And then so certain people started coming out, the likes of Asizwe Nxasana, Cindy Mabasokoyana, who started being accountants. It was the first time I'm seeing African people like me making money, and I was like, whatever they're doing, I'll do that. So that determines a lot of the time what we think is possible. It's very difficult for us to dream of careers that we don't know exist or haven't seen. The internet is doing a great job of opening up those doors, but our socioeconomic background definitely influences. And for me, I came from not the wealthiest family, so getting a scholarship from Price Waterhouse also determined what was available for me, because obviously, financial resources were restricted.
Yes, totally. So I think that there are plenty of organizations actually in South Africa that are trying to open the mind of young South Africans to think about different careers than the standard, firefighter, policeman, or
Yeah.
EMT for that matter. But I think that as a career coach, you're also opening the mind even of people who already were thinking one way about what they can do, and then figuring out the other possibilities and other pathways. So if you have a session with a client, what would you do in the first 2-3 sessions?
Okay, so how we usually work with career coaching and with all coaching is our initial session is something called a chemistry session. And I like to joke and say it's like a first date, because you don't want to be coached by someone you don't like, and you don't want to be coached with someone where there isn't a natural inclination. Usually this is about 30 minutes, maximum an hour, where we unpack what are your goals in coming to a coach. So remember that a coach is someone who has hundreds of hours in a particular field. This is someone who's an expert. And even if you think of coaching similar to any sport, right? Like you've seen the movies, it's like half time and they huddled around and it's like, come on, champ, I know you can do it. You're going to pass the ball to Jordan. We'll do a 1-2-3 play. And this is what we do. And that's what a coach does. We figure out a strategy to achieve your particular goals. And why you pay us to do that is we've seen hundreds of people just like you, and we've helped them reach their goals. So that first session is to decide, do I like this person? And also as a coach, do I like this person? What are my rules? What are our rules of engagement? And we do something called a contract where we agree we will be seeing each other for the next 8 sessions, and this is how we will engage going forward. So that's generally what happens in the first couple of sessions. The follow-up sessions then become a case of giving you trick tips and tricks, and I like to call it the cheat sheets, into why is it that you're doing what you're doing, what you could be doing better. And it often ends with you having quite a bit of homework to go do the inner work yourself and then revert back to your coach. And we do a constant touch-based review to say, where are we? How is it going? Let's go ahead.
Okay, that sounds brilliant. So basically, it's not airy-fairy kind of a thing, and it's not psychology per se. It's literally coaching what you want to achieve in your life and your personal goals.
Definitely, there is an element of psychology there, which comes from, a lot of coaches are neuro-linguistic practitioners, meaning that they do work with the subconscious mind. So what a lot of people don't know is 80% of the thoughts you thought yesterday, you'll think again today. So there is an element of us being driven by our subconscious mind, which in coaching and reflecting, we sort of also help you rewire that. But it's not pure psychology. So if I go to my psychologist, they will do a lot of reflective work where it's me reflecting on why I behave the way I behave. I like to think of a coach as someone who understands that the psychology is there, but almost like kickstarts you into, come on, let's get it done, let's do it.
So it's also very strong work, and sometimes you might not like your coach.
No, people don't like their coaches. It's like going to a personal trainer. You hate them at the gym, but you love them after a month and your body's looking amazing.
No, that sounds great, actually. So if anyone wants to find you, how they can find and contact you and start working?
So I am available on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you'll find me as Vumi Msweli or Vumile Msweli Career Coach. That's where you generally will find me. If you slide into my DMs, you'll definitely find me there. And if you want to get a bit of a feel as to what is this coaching thing, this career coaching, I would advise take a look at my TED Talk. It's called Help, I Hate My Job. So it's a nice 7-minute talk that will give you a quick overview as to what sort of things you can anticipate in engaging a career coach.
Okay, that sounds brilliant. I'll definitely attach all the links, how people can contact you and find your TED Talk. I watched it and I think it's brilliant and everybody should watch it and get more motivated from it. Thank you so much, Vumi, for all your time and energy that you brought today to this interview. I really enjoyed it, and I wish all the best for all the people that want to connect with you.
Thank you so much for making the time to invite me. I've really, really enjoyed it. And I hope you learned a little bit about the world of career coaching. And just one last thing. I know some people are not necessarily in South Africa. No need to worry. Reach out to us. We do lots of online coaching, but we are in Rwanda, Botswana, Nigeria, South Africa, and most recently in the US. So we are in quite a number of countries if you are looking for that face-to-face.
That sounds great. And do you have any last advice that you would leave us with for today?
Yeah, definitely. You know, in Zulu we say, "Umungazi ukuthi yaphi, nomuntu umgwaqo uzokufikisa." If you don't know where you're going, any road is going to lead you there. And when you don't know where you're going, that wherever that destination is, you'll tend to be unhappy because it wasn't your first choice. Don't let that be your career. Be very, very intentional about your career. Invest in your career. And remember that it's what you spend the most amount of time doing. So it should be something that you enjoy, that fulfills your spirit, and that really, really makes you smile. And of course, pays you well.
Of course, that's sometimes people, that's the thing that is driven. It's the main.
It's the reason we do it, so we can buy nice shoes.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much again, Vumi, for this time. It was a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you, and stay safe, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.